staying on Magic,
Sure.
right? But kind of going to the positive side.
Yeah, I like to like things, as has been established.
We saw, because again, another thing that broke
on Saturday, yeah,
right, is the 2024 roadmap.
Yes,
right,
and the 2025 and 2026
they announced some stuff
to a degree.
Yeah, we don't have a full roadmap for 25 and 26
No.
yet. We know that Final Fantasy is coming in 25.
Yes.
We know a few other things are coming in 25.
We have, call it a vision board.
Yes.
Yes, Necrontyr, Ravnica Remastered. We get to see.
Okay, so Q1, there's 3 in Q1, so I'm going to go January, February, March.
Sure.
It's probably going to be the release thing here. We have Ravnica Remastered, which is going to be another Masters set.
Yep. Similar to Dominaria Remastered.
Please, 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 Wizards, learn from Commander Masters.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, and this is, here what's interesting is the remastered sets are different.
But even Dominaria Remastered was expensive.
It was. And what I'm interested to see with this is they're doing it with this, and my understanding is the plan for them to eventually do an Innistrad remastered as well. So basically this is all the visits to Ravnica. We've had 3 of them now. One of them quite recently, just before War of the Spark. So within the last 5 years, I suppose, but relatively recently, considering we're playing a game that turned 30 on Saturday. Bringing all those things together in order to have that play experience. I've got a box of Dominaria Remastered. I am, as we were saying, getting, like, I've got draft boosters I could just crack. I want to draft them. Like, I enjoy these remastered draft sets.
So I'm hoping this is good.
Sure.
Next we got, and I'm guessing it's going to be a mini set. It'll be a micro set, which is Murders at Karlov Manor.
I'm interested to see what that's going to be.
Which takes place in Ravnica.
Yes.
And I'm not very clear on what this set's gonna be.
I went ahead and went back and watched the whole presentation. And
it's a murder mystery.
Yes. And what they had said was Ravnica Remastered is the guilds. Which, if you're not as familiar with Magic, the guilds are the names for each of the 10 color pairs of Magic. Ravnica has become the place where they have identified what those guilds are. So, for example, if you're ever in a game store and somebody says Boros, that's red and white. Golgari is green and black, and so on. And that's the most iconic thing about Ravnica, are those guilds. You have a lot of Magic players who are like, I'm a Boros player, or I'm a Rakdos player, that's black-red, or I'm a Simic player, that's bad people. Sorry, that was a hot take. You know, it's love to all of my Simic players in the chat and other places. Ishnatal, to your comment in the chat.
No, it's not the remaster. It comes after the remaster.
Original Ravnica will be in Ravnica Remastered. So as Dominaria Remastered was a selection of cards from every set that has ever been placed on the plane of Dominaria, which is the prime lore plane of Magic, this is what Ravnica Remastered will likely be.
Yeah.
Big thing I'm excited for is Shockland reprints. Shocklands, for those who don't know, they come into play untapped if you pay 2 life. They are essential in Pioneer and Modern play. And to see those get reprinted means those prices are going to come down, means budget Magic Taylor is a happy camper.
Murders at Karlov Manor, again, takes place in Ravnica, but it looks like it's going to come out in February, and it's something specific. And again, I'm not, even from their descriptions, not super clear what the Murders at Karlov Manor set release is going to look like.
From what I can tell, because, like, for example...
It doesn't look like a full release.
I think it might be. I'm interested to see, because Ravnica Remastered, Dominaria Remastered was just draft boosters. No, they were collectors.
There was collectors.
They were collectors. But it wasn't a standard legal set. My understanding is, based on its release schedule and what else is there in Q1, Murders at Karlov Keep will be their standard legal set, I believe, for that area. And what they said in the thing was, what they said in the presentation, it's set on Ravnica, but with kind of different mechanics. So it's not the traditional Ravnica experience. It's going to be a lot
like, what's those ones like the Crown ones?
Oh, Conspiracy?
Yeah.
It could be, but
I wonder if it's going to have a weird draft mechanic like Conspiracy.
I could see that.
Because it's like murder mystery, and they're releasing a Clue. By the way, they're releasing a Clue
Yes.
that also is the Karlov Manor version of Clue,
which is like a standalone box thing.
It's a standalone box. It's a board game. I'll buy a few of them.
That's that's the market you want to tap. That's the big brain thing there. Get the Clue players. That's who you want to get into. I do want to say to Ishnatal in the Twitch chat there, I believe it will have Ravnica Remastered. I believe will have your beloved original Dimir. It will also have other Dimir. So from the Ravnica block, Return to Ravnica, and then Ravnica Allegiance and Guilds of Ravnica. All of that will be bundled together.
Ryan, I want to let you know I saw your question in the YouTube chat. I'm going to get to that in just a few minutes because I like that question. Okay, rounding out Q1, we have Fallout.
Yes,
which
just commander decks, they were saying.
It's a Universes Beyond set of Fallout.
Yes.
I'm torn on this. Somebody said on Saturday that Magic has become the Fortnite of trading
cards. That was me.
Yeah.
I was the one.
It's like, it's Fortnite. Okay.
I didn't say it on the internet, so I didn't get credit for the joke, and I'm fine with that.
Yes, like the video game.
I'm okay with it.
It's just Fallout. So here's the thing. My understanding is it will encompass every Fallout game that's been released.
Yep.
Right? And we'll have elements from all of them.
Yep.
I'm curious what they're going to do with the commanders here.
I'll
be honest. So I know people in the chat are saying, I'm going to be happy. I love Fallout. I am a huge Fallout fan.
Okay.
I love the video games.
What did you think of 4?
I love Fallout 4.
Okay, cool.
I love Fallout 4.
I know it's I enjoyed it as well. I know it's divisive for some people.
I mean, there's definitely critiques to be made of Fallout 4, and
sure.
I've actually, I think, talked about it on the show before. But I want more information about the Fallout decks.
Nuka-Cola food tokens I'm seeing in the YouTube chat.
Oh, yeah, that would be really fun.
I do want that now.
Okay, we're going to get those. Moving into Q2, only 2 sets in Q2. Unlike this year where there was 3.
Yeah. Slowing that down a little bit, which I think
is probably a good idea.
Some people will rejoice, because I think for a lot of people the thing has been there's too much Magic.
This brings us to Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which is the first. This is a wholly original plane that they're doing again. It looks like Wild West Magic.
And villain themed. They said. That's
Outlaws.
Kind of the,
which makes sense.
Outlaws, sure.
I like the art style. I'm concerned it's going to be another Streets of New Capenna.
I mean,
at release.
I am a sucker for these things. Oh my gosh, I would love to see Wild West Oko.
Look, I'm actually looking forward to this set.
Yeah.
Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Again, but you and I are one of those people that I liked New Capenna.
Yep,
me
too.
I loved New Capenna when it released. And I couldn't figure out why we couldn't sell it.
All you have to do is just wait until everybody discovers they love drafting it 2.5 years later or whatever, after it's been on your clearance shelf, and then there you go. Would Volts be similar to Gates? We're talking about the Fallout
that would be
decks
interesting.
there in the chat. That could be.
And then, to round out Q2, we have Modern Horizons 3.
Yep.
Modern Horizons is a popular set.
Yes.
I still sell Modern Horizons 2 here because we get set booster boxes of that periodically.
Kind of that pack by pack thing that you were saying there.
It looks like it's going to be a little more expensive, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But it's, I think, going to be interesting. Then we're back to the Fortniting of Magic.
Yes.
For Q3. The only thing they didn't release was Q4 releases for next year, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
So August, September, October, July, August, September make up Q3 for next year. Assassin's Creed.
Yes. This is, well, and what's interesting is they describe
And they're doing boosters for this.
They are, and it's like, their description led me to believe it is mostly a flavor set. Like, they talked about it being modern legal and that sort of thing, and to me this is, it is, and I say this just with the caveat, I suppose, that this has proven very successful for Fortnite to become a place where you can find literally every IP. Like, this is people who like Assassin's Creed will come in and buy a booster pack of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah,
because they like Assassin's Creed.
Creed is going to have Beyond boosters, which can be drafted and is like a small set.
Yeah.
So, again, I want to see more about the product for this, but I love Assassin's Creed too.
And I mean, there you go.
I want an Ezio commander.
Yes.
Give me an Ezio commander.
And I mean, It's interesting because someone in the YouTube chat was calling me out for a very cold take on the Simic Guild earlier. This is a similarly cold take that people have had, is that, you know, you're going to have I block your Ezio with my Gandalf friend of hobbits and then cast
Cloud Strife
and chug a Nuka-Cola for, you know, and that this is what Magic is going to become. And it's,
that is some of the discussions I've seen online.
Yeah.
Now this comes to our next Q3 set, which I think is going to be. This is the one when the minute I saw it, I was like, that's going to fly off the shelf. And that's Bloomborough.
Bloomborough.
Which they are calling the cutest set they have ever made. It is full of little rabbits and squirrels. And
so cute.
It's very mouse guard.
It's the little mouse. It's the little mouse with a little sword, and he's going up against a big wolf. The thing it hit for me was, and I don't know if this is a problematic take or anything. This is my second time on the internet. I managed to not be canceled the first time. Let's see if I make it 2 for 2. I don't know if Redwall's problematic now, but did you ever do the Redwall books growing? Like,
Not
did
as
you
I
ever see these?
recall.
Maybe somebody in the chat talking about Redwall. So this was basically this. It was mice and badgers and woodland creatures going on adventures and being knights and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Something tells me someone in these design meetings was, so when I was reading Redwall when I was a kid, yes, precisely, I'm seeing in some of the chats here, we're getting some of these characters called out. Oh my gosh,
This is going to be great for all our squirrel deck
the
people.
squirrel decks, which there's magic card A Cornelia, which you get bonuses for any card that mentions squirrels or has them in the art. And something tells me that Bloomborough is going to dramatically expand the amount of cards that can go in that deck. I think you're right. I think it's going to fly.
I think people are going to absolutely adore that.
Because the last time they did a set, and speaking of 2025, 2026, Lorwyn, the last time they did a set with sort of a similar vibe, one of the most beloved sets in the history of Magic. With a similar, there are no humans. This is very kind of, I think the word some people use for it is twee. You know, it's very cute and it's very fun and it's very playful. Oh, you know there's going to be cats. There's got to be cats.
Rabbits, mice, wolves, and everything else as main characters talking, wearing clothes, wielding weapons, and war.
Yep.
Mark Rosewater called it Magic's most charming set.
Most charming set.
Yep. The second of the 3-year story arc will kick off along with the new arc. This is called Dragonstorm, and its first set will be Bloomborough.
Can we talk story just a little?
Yeah, just let's get through this last one because we got one more to talk about. Again, we don't have the Q4 official releases yet.
True.
We don't know what's coming, but so we're going to get through Q3, and that's what they show. They said this is for sure it.
Yep.
Is Duskmourn,
Duskmourn.
House of Horrors, which is again a new plane.
Yes.
So here's the thing, like for all the like IP stuff,
Yeah.
I like that we're getting new planes.
Yes,
Let's do
100%.
new stuff. Bloomborough, Outlaws of Thunder Junction, Duskmourn.
Yeah.
I hope we have a return to New Capenna at some point.
Yeah.
Right. So Duskmourn takes place in a plane that is a giant haunted mansion.
Everything is a giant haunted mansion.
And
yes.
it's based on modern horror tropes,
Yes.
is what they're calling. So
This is the set where I am nervous to crack packs around my son.
we're gonna get some
Where
Slender Man in
it's,
there.
you know, oh my
We're gonna get
gosh.
some weird stuff.
Which this is like when, with some of the Phyrexia stuff, a lot of teeth in Phyrexia. And so when I was opening Phyrexia All Will Be One, or when I'm drafting it on Arena, and my son is there with me, which my son's 6, part of me is like, is this card gonna like super freak you out?
Yeah.
And part of me wonders.
Yep.
So,
Any SCPs. I think that's what they're probably going for.
SCP?
Society of Creepypasta. So there's a whole thing.
Okay.
Like, there's a whole thing about SCP, and that's the modern horror stuff.
Got it. Okay.
All right, so now let's talk. I mean, it looks like a solid release schedule.
Yeah.
It looks like they're slowing it down a smidge.
Yeah.
We're still at not quite 3 sets a quarter.
No.
But at least we're slowing it down for the summer.
And Magic is a lot of different things. Magic is Draft, Magic is Modern, Magic is Commander. You know, we've got the topic coming up a little later on how does Commander affect the prices of some of these things. So I can...
Yes, Jurassic Park will be in Ixalan, actually, later this year.
Yes.
It's not getting its own Universe Beyond, but much like Transformers was part of Brothers War.
Was part of Brothers War.
Jurassic Park will be part of...
Part of Caverns of Ixalan is
Yep.
going to be... And that's 2025?
I want to say it was this year. There's an Ixalan set coming out this year.
Is it 2024? I missed it if it was in the little thing that we were looking at. Final Fantasy, as
Yes,
well.
that's next.
That's
2026.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Which, and some people have been, I saw somebody in the Twitch chat make the point, this likely signals the end of the most recent Final Fantasy card game. Final Fantasy has its own card game with its own deck. Somebody in chat was mentioning
Yep. Oh, it does.
that they have several of them. I don't know if if Square Enix is committed to having that property going forward. And to me, it speaks to the potential success of Magic as the Fortnite of card games.
Yep.
If people would rather have their IP in this than make their own thing of it.
Yeah. So lore. You want to talk some lore?
I mean, only very briefly.
Okay.
I was very excited by a couple things in this stream. For all of my fellow, the term is Vorthoses. So this is, people just like the Magic story. I grew up reading the Little Magic novels.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah. So now they have bundles. Before they were called Fat Packs. It was usually the same number of boosters, and they came with the novel. And it was the official canon Magic story, which they still do. Now it's web fiction, which I like. I like that it's free web fiction. But a few things that they did in this stream that got me excited were they announced it's a new chapter of the story. Planeswalkers after March the Machine are not as much a thing anymore. In the Magic lore side, so the Planeswalker Spark is what let the Planeswalker travel from plane to plane. No one else could do that in Magic. Now, the events of March the Machine have opened what they call the Omen Paths. So these are traversable paths
Between the planes.
which are dangerous and unstable, but anyone can take them. It's how Outlaws of Thunder Junction is possible. Because now they can have every villain from across the multiverse in the same place. And so this is the new story. Planeswalkers are going to be, one can surmise, less and less the focal point of Magic's characters. I think we'll still see our Chandras and our Nissas and our Ajanis and our Teos and various others, characters that people know, but the focus is shifting. And another thing that I just like, in case you didn't hear about this and you're like me, one of my weird quibbles with the Magic story being web fiction is I can only read it in a browser. My browser doesn't save where I left off.
Oh, so you have to re-scroll every time.
I have to re-scroll. They released 900 pages, the entire Phyrexia arc, Kaldheim to March of the Machine. Every single piece of web fiction story as a free EPUB.
Oh, nice.
So now I can put it on my Apple Books app, or you can put it on your Kindle app, or whatever e-reader you have, and I can actually put a bookmark in it.
That's wonderful.
And that, weirdly for me, that was the thing I was most excited about, was you're telling me it's actually going to save where I left off when I fall asleep reading this in bed?
Yep.
So I was happy about that. And I'm excited to see that they have a commitment to that story going forward.
And again, I like new stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, anytime you're doing new stuff, I have a feeling I'm going to like Outlaws of whatever junction.
Me too.
Yeah. I think that Magic needs to figure out some of their product offerings a little better.
Yeah.
Like, look how fast theme boosters came and went.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, nope, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So, interesting to see.
Why are you still here? It's the end of the video. You need to have liked and subscribed and hit the notification bell. Why haven't you done that yet? Your mother's very disappointed in you.